Hi, everybody. I think it's 4 o'clock post lunch, so I think most of you are falling, feeling sleepy, so won't take much time. So I am from, an organization called Karnataka Biotechnology and IT Services, which is a part of Department of IT and BT, Government of Karnataka. So I work as a senior manager, head the startup cell, Karnataka Startup Cell. So what we do is we first issue a certificate by registering startups as startup. So that probably, not many people are doing it. So we came up with a startup policy in November 2015, which was much ahead than the GOI's, startup policy. And it was actually came into enforcement in the mid of this year. So we actually certify startups, we register them. So we also provide facilities like incubation. So we've tied up with a couple of organizations like NASCOM, IMAI Accelerator, Mobile 10X Accelerator, and we also tied up with BBC, which is our own incubator, Bangalore Bio Innovation Cell. And we also have tied up with one of the public, private-public partnership. We tied up with 91 Springboard. So we have, startups incubated there. We have around 114 startups incubated there till now, which have been registered under KBITS. And we also provide, we have something called as Booster Kit, where we provide cloud services. We tied up with companies like Amazon, IBM, and Exotel. We provide telephony services. So all these services where we can enable the startups for scaling up their initial operations at a subsidized rate. We also have some funding schemes which are which are basically grant in aid funds. So what we thought is now we've got into a stage where there's too much of startup, and the VCs are wanting to fund companies or startups which have some traction. So what we thought was, we can fund startups at the initial idea stage where they can take their idea to POC. It can be benefiting to them so that they can scale up later. So what we have done is we have this concept called the Ideas to POC Fund, where any startup who's registered with our organization can apply for it, and we actually fund the startup up to 50 lakhs. So we have funded 8 startups recently. We issued the certificate of funds, which is in tool tech, and we also let me tell you, this is first startup policy which is focusing on a multi-sector startup policy. So we focus on any sectors like tool tech, agri tech, fintech, ed tech, health tech. So this is the whole gamut which we cater to. So we also focus on one thing, that the startup should be tech-based startup. So it should be using information technology to enable its product or solution to scale up or to launch. So I think covered most of the things. So coming to another thing is we also have something called as grant challenges, which we actually have. This is basically the government identifies a challenge every year, and we throw it open for the startups to actually address the challenge. So we fund up to 10 lakhs to creating the pilot for that particular challenge if the startup is selected, and finally we also fund up to 50 lakhs to address the make it commercialization with the help of government department, which we are addressing to. So first grant challenge was relating to the water problems which we have in the city, and the second one was related to agri, in identifying what kind of diseases which can come up to the crops so that they can prevent them. And the third one, we just launched it in the flagship event called Bangalore IT eBiz. Thank you. So this is basically to in the health sector to reach the last mile connectivity, provide the last mile connectivity for being medicine, be it medicine or health or any hospitals are concerned, even for the rural places. So any startup which is working in healthcare is most welcome to apply for that. we have it open. And all said and done, so this is we have called for idea to POC 2 rounds. So these are some gist of, I think rest I would leave it all of you who are already having a startup to visit our website, register there. So you don't have to come to government office. You can file everything online, and only for collecting the certificate you can come to our office. Otherwise everything can be done online. And we are pretty much active on Twitter and all the social media everywhere. So we have also we have 2,000 signups till now. We have around 400 companies we have completed the registrations. We have issued around 140 certificates for registering the startups, registered startups. So I'll have some time for questions, so I'm sure most of the questions may come up. So we're open for questions. Anybody with questions, you can go ahead.
Yeah, please, any questions? I think this is the right forum. We have the right gentleman here.
I work for Karnataka government, Department of IT. It's startup.karnataka.gov.in. That's the website.
Okay. Yeah. If one wants to apply, you just spoke about an idea to POC fund. So can one just go online to the site and then submit documents and apply, or does one need to visit?
Yeah, so idea to POC is basically a seasonal one. So we have already called 2 rounds, as I said, and the 3rd round will be calling in January or February. Okay, so who all have signed up, they will be getting the communication from us. So we request you to sign up.
So first you need to go to your site, sign up, and then apply for this.
Yeah, just sign up, and you can sign up for, you can further go sign in and go in for the startup registration, or by registering your startup, or you can just stay there and wait for the idea to POC or other schemes to come up. Startup.karnataka.gov.in, yes.
Is there an overlap between this initiative and what NASSCOM has been doing?
See, NASSCOM, I think NASSCOM provides incubation, and they don't provide funding activities. So they get you connected with the VCs and other funding, angel investors, but we fund ourselves. We fund from the government. As I said, it's a grant-in-aid fund, and we don't take any equity for that. But we fund through them. Yeah, that is there.
What stage of startups do you prefer from an investment perspective?
Sorry, can you go?
From an investment perspective, what stage those startups should be in when they approach you?
See, for idea to POC, we take even the ideas coming from individuals, and we look at 5 parameters like, the novelty of idea, the longevity of the product, the potential, market potential, and the kind of revenue model what they have, in terms of forecasting. So these proposals will be vetted by the, judges from the industry and multiple people, so that we don't have any overlappings there. And it will be put forth in front of the idea to POC committee, so that they present there, and they based on the committee's decision, they get the funding. Yeah, so there are 4 basic eligibility criteria. So the criteria says that it should be first of all registered in Karnataka. It doesn't mean about the domicile or anything. Anybody who's registering his company in Karnataka can come up and register there. And we also have another situation. If you have registered elsewhere, and if you also have registered in Karnataka under shops and establishments for doing the trade, then also you can come in. So, but you need to have some kind of registration in Karnataka, common. And second thing is, it should be within 4 years for IT. Since we are also under BT, we have given some more time for BT startups, because there the gestation time is more, the research is more, so we have given it up to 7 years. And it should be within 50 crores. I'm sure beyond 50 crores, they would not come to us or anybody, right? So, and 50% of the qualified workforce should be employed in Karnataka. Right. So if you have like 10, please, I think somebody can give the mic there. So.
Yeah, so just a question about your certificate. What practical value does it bring to the entrepreneur? Do you give
Right.
any opening doors for government contracts?
Yeah, very good question. So Mr. Kurian was talking about, the B2B is there, B2C is there. So we have to focus on B2B, B2G, or B2G2B or B2G2C. So what we are trying to do is this certificate probably will enable you to, get in, business orders or empanel your startup with our sister organization or concerns like Kionix. Kionix is our sister concern. And see, what we did recently is our minister, honorable minister, is also, shares the portfolio for tourism along with ITBT. So we actually allocated some funds for there. So we called in for tourism challenge. So we actually gave opportunity for 8 startups to, do business in relation with government department. So we are giving all support to them. It can be an audio guide, it can be AR, VR, or it can be an AI on, hotel industry. So we are giving them enough support where they can actually start out doing their, businesses through the government channel what we have. Sorry. See, government tenders also we were trying to introduce them to various departments where they can actually take up small projects, but it will probably take some time. Let me be very open there.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. So, Startup Karnataka cell is more aligned with the state government, right? And we have a similar thing at a central government level, which is Startup India cell. So how does this align with the central government in the putting it into the bigger picture? And if we have applied for Startup Karnataka cell, could the same individuals still go for register for startup at the central government
Yes,
level?
you can.
Yeah,
You
so
can go there. You can go there.
Okay.
And what we are trying to do is we are trying to actually talk to the GOI part where we can actually get some more funding in turn for our idea POC and other, funding activities. So we have funding for different sectors. We have ESDM, we have something called as Karnataka Semiconductor Venture Fund. That's only, allocated for the semiconductor companies. We basically want to encourage the product companies to come up. So our focus is to have at least 20,000 startups by 2020. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we want to have 6,000 at least out of that product company, so that we can actually increase employment in Karnataka. And Bangalore has been the #1 startup ecosystem. I mean, it's not only because it's various factors, I'm sure, like talent and climate and many other things. But now I think government is supporting a lot in terms of other things. See, it depends on the scheme. So if you're applying for idea to POC, I'm not sure how, as on date, GOI is operating, what kind of processes are, do they call every quarterly or anything like that. But what we have done is, I think the government has told other departments to fund our department to, fund the idea to POC. So we have got, so we're getting some support from agricultural department. So we may launch idea to POC for agri-tech startups. Like that, we have done it for tool tech. We may get some from education department, so we will do from edtech. I think 20 departments funding 2 crores each, 40 crores a year. We can expect at least, see, our idea is to at least nurture 100, ideas a year, various sectors. So, as told by our principal secretary and, our director of ITBT. So, we'll focus on that. So.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Sathyanarayan. I know
Last
there are a lot
question.
of questions.
We'll address this last
Running a little short on time, we'll take one last question.
No, it's not a question. I think idea to POC is roughly about 50 lakhs, right? It's an ignition grant.
Yeah, it's up to 50 lakhs. So it depends on what kind of idea the startup is putting up and what kind of potential is there. So is it already there, or is it a complete novel idea, or what is it? So if it requires 50 lakhs, it goes up to 50 lakhs. sometimes we may fund up to only 20 lakhs. But we have given some startups, support from government where we feel that they require less funds, but they require more support. So somebody like a startup with a hardware equipment which enables the tourism in terms of creating a hotspot for guide and other things, we have given them the permission in our tourism spots to put up their hardware. Thanks all of you, and we can always network outside, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sathyanarayan. There's a small memento from our side. Mr. Sujit.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll break.